Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now, let me know how the audio and visual is. Of course, some type of emoji or something in the chat. Let me know that things is fully functioning. It's mostly a Q&A. Allow for everybody to come in, but let me know how to, again, the visual and audio, the music in the background. If it's too loud. As a matter of fact, much love. This from this sis and brethren, this channel called Chantress Seba. But she got a few little videos and she be on the little light language energy through the music, but it'd be, I don't know, it'd be a vibe. Matter of fact, speaking of that energy, you know what I'm saying, channeling that, in essence, that siren energy in a healthy manner. It reminds me of, matter of fact, it reminds me of the movie, The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element that had the sis, that blue sister doing the opera or whatever, and the actual Fifth Element or whatever, which I mean, it was love technically, but it had something to do with her as an opera singer, But it's literally like, like a siren vibe. A matter of fact, in this mode, in this energy, want to give thanks, appreciation, ashe, to all aspects of our inner guidance, what I'm saying, spirit guides, ancestors, just every aspect of our inner being that has helped us along our journey, what I'm saying. Some of us very hard-headed and then turned left when the inner guidance say go right, but yet the guidance and protection shows up resiliently. So, we definitely want to appreciate that. I shade of that. Glass Moon, what's up? West Combs, what's up? AK, what's up? Yeah, just definitely come in with that vibe. Appreciation. Matter of fact, actually kind of, just pause for a second. I'm trying to get this but pause for a second and just again let that, I say to the ancestors. Gratitude for the ability to be able to breathe and do breath work. And as I bring that up, matter of fact, peace smart. We're from West Cumbria, UK. All right. Yep, West, I passed through on the Instagram for a second. And some of the same subjects gonna come up, as I bring up breath work. Again, I always like the example of how to use breath work in the anime Demon Slayer, and the energy of basically transmuting our inner demons through breath work. and how our chi, our ashe, our, life force energy is our currency, and more realizing that first and foremost, like, this is not to say, like, hey, be spiritual. I don't need anything. I could just live off of water and the air. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, if that's your path and, that's what you choose in this lifetime, cool. But some of us may be doing that out of, this extreme asceticism, extreme spiritual practice type of perspective, an extreme minimalist type of energy. It's all right being a minimalist, it's all right, to be real into our spiritual practices and into the spirit realm, but, not using it as an excuse for, for lack in essence, or like for not feeling abundant or not feeling worthy, what I'm saying, to be abundant, or, subconscious programming that say you being greedy or too worldly to, if you're enjoying your physical experience, that's being too worldly or too, demonic or devilish or whatever, certain people, whatever the words people may use and stuff like that, but I definitely want to, again, understand though that the chi, the life force is currency, the sea of current, as we speak about ancestors, all these different aspects of our inner guidance, like, we're seen and we're able to connect due to our ability to vibrate on a certain frequency, due to our ability to, have a certain level of chi move through our body. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of crystals, I thought of, like, I was guided to work with Covalite recently. And I did a video a while back about the melanin and copper crystals, but Covalite being a superconductor. And basically, again, like with copper, something like copper, the reason why electricity could flow through it because it allows for the electrons to move more, with more ease. And I didn't realize that, like toasters and certain things that, like how toasters or like a hot plate has like that, like where it heats up, like, again, you familiar with a hot plate or electric stove, a hot plate, electric stove, but it heats up like that due to it not being like superconductive with electricity. So it overheats, like the electrons build up and it creates heat. Same thing like probably with, a plug or a charger that you may have that doesn't, if the electricity not flowing well through it, it causes this heat. And this is why also our computers and stuff like that, well, more so computers, laptops, have, some form of a cooling system. But literally, and that's also looking at ourselves like that too, as above, so below, as within, so without. If we feel like we're overheating, what I'm saying, we may not have a proper electron flow through the body, like the electricity is getting stuck, what I'm saying, literally, like, having a blockage in so many ways, causing you to overheat, And Covalite, though, is a superconductor, and superconductors basically like can conduct electricity without overheating. What I'm saying? It allows for electricity to flow, and even a high amount of electricity to flow through without, overheating. Specifically Covalite. What I'm saying? Covalite is basically like a copper sulfur crystal in essence. So it's copper and sulfur. You may find it, like, sometimes it may grow close to chalcopyrite, or pyrite itself, which Pyrite is a sulfur crystal, and chalcopyrite is a mixture of copper, iron, and sulfur. You know, it may be considered peacock stone or bornite, if I'm not mistaken. So you've picked the wrong, though, no bricks and cement. Yeah, but if you're talking about like when I was talking about the ancestors, and our inner guidance helping us, and we still go in the opposite direction, but yeah, you still could, change the situation. Now's the vibrate. It's kind of like the time, gotta have like that Tom Brady energy. I talked about in a video a while back, like, Tom Brady would go out there, like how Peyton Manning would go in, and this more so for those who are familiar with football. But I add some information to it so you can understand what I'm talking about. Like, Peyton Manning was like the perfectionist, He had to have like a perfect game. In the moment, he probably had 1 or 2 picks or 3 picks, like throwing interceptions to the other team, that would kind of throw him off, whenever he wouldn't have like such a perfect game. But like Tom Brady could go out there and possibly have a bad play or a bad first half and throw 3 interceptions or 4 interceptions, but then still come back and win the game. And, it's kind of like an amnesia, healthy amnesia, because we're not trying to have a toxic amnesia in that sense, but basically like, and I even want to say amnesia then, let's just say not dwelling on those past situations. You still have access and you still remember those, in this case, interceptions or bad plays, but you're not dwelling on it, which allows for you to be present in the moment and actually, create something new. You know what I'm saying? Also, that's kind of the energy right now, moving forward, staying present and moving forward. Again, healing our karmic cycles, healing these lesson loops so we could, speaking of quarterbacking, what is Dante Culpepper? Randy Moss, keep it rolling. But yeah, that bringing up that analogy and that connection with cobalt, allowing for the electricity to flow through. And of course, y'all remember to thumbs up, hit the like button, make sure these algorithms could allow for the videos to be seen. And also, want to touch on a little bit of, things that's going on right now. I'm seeing like the weather changes, again, like the energetic shifts that's going down right now, and understanding how to have that balance of being aware of, yes, things are going to be changing and going to be shifting. But like the holistic view of this whole situation is, it only is going to seem like the end of the world depending on your perspective, what I'm saying, the energy that you're in. Like it would only seem like the end of the world or like something bad has happened if you're trying to hold on to something, that's changing in essence. Because I think of like, again, you got wildfires starting in Louisiana and hurricanes going towards California. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like a swap. like literally like a pole shift in between two places that I've traveled back and forth a lot. You know what I'm saying? Kind of seeing a pole shift in the energy, but the weather in Louisiana like being very, very, dry, as if the water elementals, because again, having to deal with the spirits and elemental spirits, it's like the water elemental spirits kind of, falling back in Louisiana in so many ways, while the water elementals and you could say water elementals and a little bit of, let's say, like matter of fact, if this was Avatar, the Fire Kingdom or the Fire Nation also dealt with electricity or lightning, and you could say storms or rain sometimes is accompanied by, lightning, so you could say like the water elementals and somewhat of the fire elementals with the storm energy, but, definitely like the water elementals, and that whole energy, kind of shifting. But ultimately, again, like knowing we straight, like take care, the 3 keys. I said 2 keys in a past video, but 3, just making sure we strengthening our intuition or strengthening the clarity of our intuition, being present in the moment to the fullest, and understanding our karma / understanding our soul purpose, so presence, establishing that clear intuition and being aware of our karmic cycles, ancestral DNA karmic cycles, and also understanding our soul purpose, because we're here in alignment with our soul purpose. So again, here now, being present in alignment with your soul purpose and in alignment with the cause and effect of something that happened in the past. And again, a lot of us, I'm also realizing, like letting go of that energy of the quote unquote petty, beefs, the petty tribal beefs, what I'm saying, where literally, tribes that were once working together are helping each other, what I'm saying, in so many ways, what I'm saying, is bickering and, and let's say this, is having to heal. Let's speak it in present tense, what I'm saying, having to heal that, petty bickering for the bigger picture, what I'm saying. Because the only reason why I don't keep going in about, the government and what they doing and stuff like that, for one, again, I like to keep that balance of, again, speaking of chi and life force energy. And when we talk about attention, we usually say pay attention, what you're paying attention to. So I'm not one to kind of amplify. There's so many other people like, hey, look at the riverboat situation in Alabama, and look at what Trump doing, and look at, and again, we do want to have certain awareness about these things, but again, it's like awareness without overly focusing on it and without fear mongering, but you definitely do want to have awareness of what's going on around you, what I'm saying? Like that is key, you got the wildfire in Hawaii, which seem like it may be a little more man-made than, matter of fact, much love to Seven Bomar. He brought that up in the video he recently done, and again, this also ties into the video I did about like, whether it's man-made or whether it's nature, and knowing that, no man or parasitic energy is going to have more power than nature in essence, but it's through, again, speaking on karmic energy, like the karmic energy of, like making these relationships are like giving away your spiritual birthrights or soul birthrights or natural birthrights, to these governments and stuff like that, allows for them to come in and do shit like that to the nature and the natural, these natural spaces. So that's how that end up, end up happening, how you get a wildfire in such a raw, natural, beautiful place, like Hawaii, and it being possibly, again, like some man-made type of stuff, hence why it's so valuable, again, whether we not from Earth or or not, because yes, it is a temporary realm, and all that good stuff, but it's still like, again, this bodysuit is temporary, but do we let people just walk up on us and try to harm us? No, we're very protective of our bodysuit and our physical essence and presence. So the same thing with Earth. It may be an illusion or whatever, but it's it's an experience and an illusion worth fighting for. And there's a difference between, like, yes, the physicality of Earth is, in essence, like a illusion, because again, Maya, the illusion, which is also like the prefix for magic, a magician. A magician does, illusions, taps into illusionary energy. And matter of fact, if I got that right here, but with the whole thing with Earth, what I'm saying, is the physical aspect that is temporary, but it has a soul, that's not temporary. So in essence, we're helping the soul of, Earth, which in essence is more of a representation of the great mother energy, but, it's also by working with the physical aspect as well. What up, Great Blackness? Again, anybody got some questions or anything y'all want to bring up? Anything y'all want to talk about? But anything more so relevant to our now moment, not just any old spiritual topic in essence. Where I put them notes? Oh, right here. What do you think of when you think of the words "the great year"? The thing that comes to mind, since we're talking about, since I've been bringing up like the pole shift energy, like it sounds like the year that the pole shift. That's the first thing that come to mind. and almost like a energy like that's great for, you know, the change, great for healthy changes internally and externally. And right quick, so again, as I was bringing up, bringing up the Maya energy, and again, the Maya deals with occult power, craft, or the illusions. And you know what I also was want to just dabble into a little bit, the difference between magic and alchemy. You know, and how magic in essence deals more so with manipulating or creating illusions. It's more so light magic, or and I say because it's all light magic being in this realm in so many ways, or forms of fashions, but it's more so, you could say, like the solar energy, you know, magic, in the sense of, again, like, you know, a light show, like creating some type of illusion, like, oh, look, it's up my sleeve, and oh, now it's over here. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of energy. And again, we're both magicians and alchemists, you know, both energies, you know, has a positive and negative. So it's not to say, you know, magic, just because it's dealing with illusions, that is something negative. But again, like right now, the importance more so shifting to the ability of alchemy. You know what I'm saying? So again, starting from the word mystic, you know, the Greek noun mystis, which is one who has been initiated. And magic, you know, is the art of influencing or predicting events and producing marvels using hidden natural forces, you know. And this reminds me of the Ancient Magus' Bride, the anime, where, you know, they were showing the difference between magicians and alchemists, and the magicians also had the ability to see the spirit realm a little more stronger. Now, this may not be like a complete case when we're talking about magic and alchemy, because some alchemists could, you know, tap into the spirit realm just as much as somebody who's into the magician or magic aspect, you know. But again, on the anime, it was like the magicians could see like the fairy elementals and see what's going on beyond the veil more than the alchemist. Like it had more of like that literary perspective of like what an alchemist is, like, oh, an alchemist only knows how to turn lead into gold, which kind of gives it more of that scientific perspective of like only, you know, working with metals, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, some alchemists on the show though did have like, you know, it was like a very rare alchemist who could also see beyond the veil as well. But they mostly, again, like as the alchemist aspect, talk about you know, alchemy or chemia, you know what I'm saying, that goes into chemistry, you know what I'm saying, and basically the science of transmutation of base metals. You know, chemistry is the study of the composition of material things and the changes they undergo. Again, the study of the composition of material things. So again, hence why chemistry gets into the periodic table. You know what I'm saying? Because periodically you need to know what these elements made out of, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, and we talk about like the alchemy and base metals, you know, that's connected to our carbon and our melanin as well, you know what I'm saying? Transmuting energies, you know, on a physical level, turning quote unquote lead to gold, turning our heavy Saturn lessons, you know what I'm saying, heavy lead into something more, you know, lighter that could shine bright, you know what I'm saying, and help guide us. Think of the hermit on the tarot card holding the little lamp, you know, and in his lamp, the light is in the shape of a six-pointed star, which in essence, you could almost say like the alchemy of bringing the elements together, because the six-pointed star is like the lower triangle point downward, which is the earth and water energy that's balanced with the fire and air energy. All the masculine and feminine energy is balanced out. But again, chemistry, the study of the composition of material things and the changes they undergo. And that's just, again, chemistry by itself. And again, just like we talk about working with, material things, or alchemy dealing with, again, the transmutation of base metals, as above, so below, as within, so without. The earth's crust is like our body. The earth's crust is like the skin of the body, So again, carbon and elements being transmutated or changed within the crust, and deeper in the body, because again, you got other areas where, elements exist, like the blood that's inside of us that deals with the iron. Good stones for grounding higher energies into physical during this moon. First, just easy, hematite would be one of the best crystals to work with. Pyrite, a lighter stone. This stone is not necessarily for grounding, but it would be good for, like, in essence, kind of like digesting, these high vibrational energies in essence. Fluorite, fluorite helping dissolve a lot of illusion, especially when we got, Neptune. I think it done started its retrograde, Neptune retrograde in Pisces, along with Saturn. So it does have like a little, hey, be responsible and aware of the more logical perspective with the Pisces energy. But the Neptune, again, the dreamy energy, and more so, again, the elusive illusion energy, so I would say hematite, pyrite, but then also fluorite for like the clarity aspect, not necessarily grounding, but it does help for digesting, or grounding the physical, grounding the spiritual energy into something that is, applicable or applicable. Like you could apply the information because you have awareness, like you done broke it down, you done digested. Digesting, is like, stomach breaking down things so it could have nutrients for the body, and speaking of, taking it into the body, the sun in Virgo, and I brought this up earlier, how, again, the two different signs is kind of like helping each other. The Virgo energy, the positives to the Virgo energy helps the negative to the Pisces, and the negative to the, or should I say the positive of the Pisces helps the negative of the Virgo energy. And the Virgo energy right now is kind of like, letting the Pisces energy know, like, hey, the Virgo positive aspects is like, be grounded, be a little practical, bring your mental activity, in so many words, because of Mercury, ruling Virgo, and it's an earth sign. So kind of like bringing that energy, that mental energy into a grounded state, not being so up here and dreamy and delusional about it, but more so like, grounding it, being more practical, but also, detoxing. Because what helps us when we have like, these overwhelming psychic energies coming through, which is a part of the Pisces energy, especially a full moon, you know what I'm saying, or full moon in any water sign, but for sure with Pisces, you know, you could get this overwhelming psychic energy where you feeling, you know, sometimes for a lot of us even more than our immediate environment, but you know, you could feel like the collective, or you may be feeling certain people, places, and things that ain't close to you, but you had some type of emotional connection to at some point, you know. But bringing it back to the Virgo energy, you know, when you're detoxing, you're able to have more clarity about your energy and really sense, you know, what's going on psychically and physically. You know what I'm saying? So that Virgo energy helps on that level, you know. And then the Pisces energy helps the Virgo energy, because sometimes the negative of the Virgo energy could be like being too, I say too practical, but so sometimes too practical, because sometimes you could be so practical that you're not dreaming big. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was too practical, I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? So many ways, you know, because extreme practicality is like, hey, get a job. Like who, you know, that's too much of a risk making a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? So practicality could go into the extreme, or pragmatism go to the extreme and kind of block you manifesting your dreams or dreaming big, you know. But again, it's like one balances the other, you know. And how you deal with that energy is, you know, again, knowing yourself to the fullest and knowing what's best for you. Some of us, it's necessary for us to be more pragmatic. Some is more necessary for you to be more into the Pisces energy and dream kind of big. But again, the Pisces energy is telling the Virgo, like, hey, quit all that overthinking and overanalyzing. Trust your intuition. You know, don't be so practical. Dream a little bigger. You know what I'm saying? So it in essence is also like, again, not overworking, not trying to use physical work and overanalyzing for tapping in with your spirit and intuition, you know, because again, Pisces got the Neptune energy, and that deals with the spiritual energy, you know. Besides the illusionary aspect of the dreams, it actually has the healthy manner of tapping in with the spirit realm and spiritual sight, you know. Not to mention Jupiter there too, with the wisdom and the spiritual awareness too, you know. So again, it's kind of like one helping the other. Oh, come on, great blackness, don't insult my intelligence. I know that the shift is to bring balance. I know. Saying be aware of what you're saying is saying be aware of the illusions. And matter of fact, speaking of astrology, man, I just realized, man, astrocartography, which is basically like astrology that maps out, like that draws your natal chart like on the globe and shows you like how you're, you know, like again, like you got like your Jupiter line, your Saturn line, your Chiron line, you know, and in these certain areas where these lines are, you experience certain things. Cause I promise you, like my Saturn line and my Jupiter line is so accurate. So accurate. I'm like, man, I'm like, all right, I gotta, you know, tap in with this astrocartography, you know. not giving too many details of of my chart right now, what I'm saying, in this moment, because that's another thing, I had to find that balance with a moon in the 10th house, or the moon, my moon around the MC, or my midheaven. Again, the midheaven, it's like it's out in the open, you know what I'm saying? So my subconscious, my emotions, all that, it naturally is gonna I'm gonna naturally express it or show it in so many ways, you know what I'm saying? But understanding how to have that balance. Now, of course, I do realize there, and if I didn't see when it went off, so let's just start from the perspective again. I was talking about having the moon in the midheaven, and the midheaven, or the MC, is the area where everybody could see, is the area where it's in the light. It's like the conscious mind, or the conscious perspective, but more so, let's just say, above ground, where everybody could see, and with the moon energy, which is more of a personal, emotional, subconscious energy, that energy for me kind of comes out, whether it's shown, orally or verbally, is me speaking on it, or, just being shown in my actions very, obviously, but again, with that vulnerability, there is, protection, but again, you realize the balance of, like, for certain things, is like, if you're building on something, you don't want to speak on it until it's like finished. Like, you let the finished product be you talking about it, and let the finished product do the talking, But it's all right to have moments of vulnerability, of like, sharing, like, oh, I had this dream about this, you know what I'm saying? Or, this situation happened to me, like some levels of vulnerability, is actually, again, like with certain placements, and, you understanding your alignment with your spirit team, you're actually protected, because again, like, I could be in the energy of like, oh, well, this is my vulnerable spot. And literally, like, if somebody came to mess with that vulnerable spot, they would probably like get struck down by lightning as they trying to be mischievous about it. And I'm just giving an example, you know what I'm saying? But like, like, you don't have to, it's kind of like your spirit team got you on that level, because you are here, a part of your path is being that vulnerable, Is your, and I guess the thing would be like too, like, where your moon is, towards the MC area. The MC, and matter of fact, that deals with like our social, is around the 10th house. So that deals with our social aspects, the 10th and 9th house in essence. But social aspects, how the external world perceives us, or how we want to be perceived by the external world in essence. The descendant line is kind of like more so with relationships around the 7th and 6th house, which is like the Libra Virgo area. But again, like dealing more with relationships, just generally, the IC, which is a opposite to the MC. The MC is like out in the open, external expression where everybody could see you, your social status, all that stuff. And I don't have the paper right here. And then the IC is like at the bottom, the roots, around the 3rd house and the 4th house. The 4th house being speaking of cancers, the Cancer house, and the house of like, roots, foundation, family, home, you know what I'm saying? But the first years of your development, and also the 3rd house in essence too, because the 3rd house deals with, your learning process in a short distance, because again, the third house opposing to the ninth house, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is learning through long distance travel, a long distance expansion, while the Gemini is more so like the short distance travel and learning from that, like in so many ways, you can also look at it as street smarts, you know what I'm saying? Because we get our street smarts from, how we learn in our neighborhood, in essence, what we learn from our immediate neighborhood. It also deals with, what we learn from our siblings. So again, it's like your foundational family before even getting into connecting with soul fam and things of that nature. The third house is siblings, fourth house mother. So it's like your mother and your siblings, is the IC area, the roots, and the subconscious aspect too, because again, this area is where your subconscious was strongly affected, so that'd be a thing too. And yeah, Wes, Astrocartography, you spelled it right. The little website, I want to say it's called Astro D, how you say that? Here we go. On the site astro.com, it's called your Astro Click Travel. As a matter of fact, also because I did a natal chart for my YouTube channel, and an astrocartography chart for my YouTube channel, and that was pretty accurate as well. Without going deep into it, my YouTube channel natal chart had like nothing but Gemini and Leo energy. It was officially started as far as me, sharing knowledge on here, because I've been started it, but I was doing other things on my YouTube channel. But this is just a quick look at, let's see. Astro Click. But that website, again, that website is a great website for tapping in with, be real with you, with astrology charts in general, but definitely also the astrocartography. But yeah, very, very accurate. Very, very accurate. I'm also going, I have that, which it won't be much to it, but part 2 to the Apsaras, the fairy energy in connection with the Jesta Nakshatra in astrology and Indra, because really seeing like how all of that, interconnects. And again, it's like not, not turning somebody into a, a bad guy. It's not like going on no scapegoating hunt, you know what I'm saying? Just literally for more understanding. Because when I speak on the fairy energy, the Lilith energy, and all these different aspects, and it goes deeper into understanding, on a level where, it would seem like, one trying to say that this energy is bad or something. It's like, no, it's not, speaking on it as bad. It's like just understanding it for what it is, you know what I'm saying? Because again, with anything, you know what I'm saying, whenever we're putting rose-colored glasses on or trying to like only perceive things a certain way, that prevents us from getting the full truth and the holistic truth about ourselves and our environment, So like as much as we want to look at fairies as something that's like just like off of Peter Pan and always nice, in which they kind of softly made Tinkerbell have a attitude in some way to kind of, somewhat subtly show the mischievousness of, the fairies. But again, it's a balanced thing. It's a positive and a negative. You know what I'm saying? You got the fairy energy in connection with, taking human children and bringing them into the fairy world, basically stealing children, trying to steal children to bring them into the fairy realm. But then you also get certain gifts and enjoyment in connecting with the fairies as well. It's just like with any and all relationships, it's like just being aware, of who you're dealing with and what's your relationship to it, But yeah, it's like, it's like, oh, it's always sunshine and butterflies. Like, no, it ain't always like that. You know what I'm saying? You got very malicious, fairies just as much as you have benevolent fairy energy. So it's like being aware of that full, the full spectrum, the holistic view. What's up, Entwining Roots? Right, it depends on your energy and beliefs. Same thing like with I realized that about like with voodoo and stuff like that, with like somebody doing voodoo on you. It only works if you, believe that somebody could do something to you on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, again, like the holistic view of it, of course, like people constantly thinking negative towards you could be sent towards your energy field. But ultimately, like you ignoring that shit and just doing what you gotta do, living the life that you love, kind of blocks that out. You know what I'm saying? Not kind of, it does block it out, but the percentage level just depends on, how much you truly subconsciously believing or listening to that whole like, oh, somebody could hex you or hoodoo you, you know what I'm saying? Because literally, that's how I always could tell like what's real and what's not, or like, if somebody trying to, like anybody trying to persuade you to believe in something, in a manner where they get angry, like, so if you was like, oh man, voodoo curses, that's fake, you know what I'm saying? Or that nobody could do that to me. And somebody coming like, oh no, yes it can be done to you. You know what I'm saying? Like literally they are automatically on the side of like trying to keep you, you know what I'm saying? They're a little worker. They're a little worker bee for that energy, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, they're part of Indra's court in the connection of like the Apsaras and fairy energy in connection with Indra, because Indra connected to the Jyesta Nakshatra. The Jyesta Nakshatra is in the Scorpio constellation, and it deals with the sometimes negative perspectives of the Scorpio energy with jealousy and competition, because it deals with the Antares star Antares, kind of the heart of Scorpio, and dealing with the Mars energy, and that deals with the competition, the competitiveness, the warlike energy, and Indra connected to that nakshatra, because Indra, in his energy, he felt like sages on earth, like any type of sage or anybody tapping into their spiritual path was his competition. So he would send the fairies or apsaras to, whether it was try to seduce the sages or just try to be a distraction to the sage in some way, form, or fashion, to kind of throw off their spiritual growth or spiritual development, And again, like that was his whole little thing, was he had like some type of competition or jealousy, and he also was very sexual, because he wanted to sleep with one of the sage's wives, so he made himself look like her husband or the sage, so he could sleep with the wife, you know what I'm saying? And again, the sage cursed him. I talk about that in the video, but just briefly running it, the sage cursed him by saying like, all right, since you like vagina so much, I'm gonna turn your whole body into a bunch of vaginas, you know what I'm saying? And when Indra kind of, was just so devastated, he just went pleading to all the other different gods, and they really couldn't help him. Hence why they just turned it's like the most we could do is turn these into eyes for you, and again, like realizing that these stories not just, having a literal sense on the spirit realm level, but, also, the personification of, different metaphysical sciences in the essence. Again, like I brought up how it connects with the Vesica Pisces, and the Vesica Pisces being like a yoni or vagina, but also an eye as well, So it was kind of almost like a personification of the sacred geometry of the Vesica Pisces in so many ways. But, again, like just showing how the mythology, anatomy, all of it connects, the psychology aspects, of astrology and in connection with the stars, because again, it's connecting with the star Antares, is also connecting with the body parts of the sexual area. It also connects with the energy, again, more so from the negative perspective, because again, each zodiac sign has a positive aspect. The Scorpio energy is a very empathic energy. They understand like what you're going through on the emotional feelings level, because they done felt emotions and know how I feel on certain levels, so it's not it's not a one-sided thing. Right, it's not good to believe everything you hear. Right. And back on me bringing up the government, earlier, and although I don't harp on it, again, it's always good to be aware of these things. Now again, because of the way I done explain things, I feel like, you should automatically know and get this, but sometimes it's just be like, we're just giving it a little mention, but like how I always made it obvious, like, hey man, again, like the energies, the spirits, the parasitic, vampiristic energy of like what the government, is connected to. They ain't gonna never stop trying, like a bothersome mosquito or fly. They gonna always keep trying to, like, create things to throw you off your path. And again, on a deeper level, you like, hey, you appreciate the contrast in the realm, because the stink shit allows for roses to exist. you know. But on a more individual perspective, it's like, but also though to like not let that shit, you know what I'm saying, program you and stuff like that. But getting to the perspective of like, you know, like fake people on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like fake spiritualists, you know what I'm saying? Most likely paid for by the government or work for the government, whatever, you know what I'm saying? On YouTube, you know, I know Bridge of Rod bring this up a lot of times too. Much love to bro, about like, you know, the OTO and the, you know, the Golden Dawn, like people from the Golden Dawn and the OTO also like being a part of like creating certain little programs and things of this nature to, you know, kind of stealthily be into the, you know, again on YouTube, all this stuff, but giving out misinformation, you know. Right, great. If I was on what it is, StreamYard, I would put that post at the bottom and highlight it. The bottom line, literally, it'll be at the bottom. But the bottom line is no one can harm you if you don't fear them. This gives you an advantage over everything in this realm. Right. Because one thing, you know, whether, you know, it comes off as like the Forrest Gump energy of being gullible or not, but it's like, you know, being so courageous or fearless, or more so, I guess, in the sense of, you know, it's a thin line between being carefree and being like fearless or courageous, you know. But it's like being so carefree, like knowing I'm protected no matter what, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't care, like I ain't gotta worry about, you know, where I go, or like ain't nothing gonna harm me, you know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta know that. And again, the Truman Show effect always holds true. Like matter of fact, like I was bringing up earlier, like where if you know not to believe that somebody could harm you with their, you know, with spells and all that, and then somebody pop up like, oh no, you need to be scared of this. You need to think that this is true. You know what I'm saying? Or if they don't aggressively come at you like that, then they passively aggressively like may try to program it into your subconscious from the perspective of, oh no, you know, it happened to me, you know, so it gotta be true. Like, hey, look, that's because you believe in it. So that's what aligns in your realm, you know what I'm saying? Because even like when I think of, you know, when I would look at certain little tarot readings on YouTube and like understanding, like, you know, just peeping game, you know what I'm saying, of the accuracy and like just what's going on. And it's like, all right, you know, some people kind of promote and amplify that whole little voodoo hex energy, you know. So I never listened to like, oh, well, you know, you got to be aware that somebody's doing this spell towards you and this and that, you know what I'm saying? And what's real though on this is like, again, everything, everywhere, all at once. You know, there is a dimension or perspective of yourself, or let's just say a dimension where you do believe in that in some way, form, or fashion. Hence why it's subtly showing up in your experience, you know, like it's subtly showing up in your experience. Are you in earshot of that conversation for a reason, you know what I'm saying? And it's because, you know, there is some type of dimension where you probably did, you know, or not say did, like, you know, a dimension existing simultaneously where you know, dealing with that whole energy or something of that nature, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, again, bottom line is no one can harm you if you don't fear them. And I think I talked about that in the video with Key, where I'm like, I don't know if this expression was everywhere, but like in Louisiana growing up, we used to have expression like when we would run jokes on a person, we'd be clowning with each other, stuff like that. But like you were like the object was to like clown a person or mess with them till you quote unquote like what we use the terminology like you're driving the person, you know, like either we would say like, oh man, he drove, you know what I'm saying? He or she drove, I done drove him, you know what I'm saying? Like and the terminology drove, coming from the perspective, I done made him mad, you know what I'm saying? I done talked about that too, made a video about the metaphysics of if something gets you angry, in essence, it has control over you. And anything that kind of, in essence, like triggers us subconsciously or consciously, to some extent has a control over us until we master the energy of responding to those triggers instead of reacting to them. But, again, like the terminology you drove, and literally, like it metaphysically, it was accurate as well, you know what I'm saying? Because we used to be like, oh yeah, got that steering wheel in your back, you know what I'm saying? I'm driving them. They drove, you know what I'm saying? But literally, like, how that connects, somebody like, some terminology say get your goat, some people, make you angry or fearful in that sense too, whether it's making you angry, fearful, all of that, steering wheel in your back, you know. So yeah, that all connects. Zen Master, what's up? West Palm Beach, Florida. Sterling King, peace. Right. Great Blackness. Because that part, again, I may have been too extreme at certain moments upon my journey. Speaking of, like again, like Earth being like, like, hey, it's a game, it's an illusion, like be lighthearted, don't take it so serious, But, like literally, like don't take it so serious, don't let your heart weigh heavier than a feather, or let your heart beat as light as a feather. Like this experience, you can enjoy it. The only reason why you're feeling you can't is because of some type of, subconscious programming, social engineering. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about, again, being aware of your karma or karmic cycles to remove any, karmic subconscious programming or social engineering that either was handed down through your ancestral line or that just comes with a part of like being in this realm in this lifetime right now, where just certain things was just, again, like we chose to come into this realm where all kind of the social engineering subconscious programs was already in place in essence, hence like the terminologies of like spiritual warriors and stuff like that, but just being warriors in the sense of like the space we're holding, That's why I'm one of those people, that's why I'm not big on like the whole gun thing. And again, it's your own awareness. You gotta realize ain't nothing wrong. Like the people who feel they need guns, ain't nothing wrong with them in the sense of like, that's just their disposition. That's their perspective. They probably didn't, they respecting the fact that subconsciously they may still feel like somebody, could run up on them on a level where they need this quote unquote gun for protection, And then some of us then seen like the perspectives and layers of like, hey, you're going to transition when you transition, whether you choke on the cookie, what I'm saying, or, in your sleep or, a gun, because I always felt like that too. I'm like, man, a gun not necessarily preserving nobody's life in And if anything, they just create more stress to be looking over their shoulder about shit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, shit, that's almost like dying before dying right there, in a toxic type of manner. Because again, in a healthy manner, like, when we say die before you die, it's like being able to embrace change, and stay in motion and let things go and move forward, on a spiritual level, again, like die before you die, or transition, in essence, to prepare to like transition out the bodysuit. But then again, they got that energy of like, where if I'm always like looking over my shoulder, like, oh man, this, and again, not knocking it or trying to clown people who, healing through those energies, but just like, again, bringing forth that understanding. Because another thing too, I'm not here, like, man, this realm, has been damaging to a lot of our subconscious, and so, not social, to a lot of our subconscious, you know what I'm saying? So, I understand how one could be going through these types of things and having to heal through that energy. Right. That's why I made that post. That was a dope expression that KRS-One made about the gun. God, goddess, God or goddess. Which I feel like that part was redundant, but hey, I ain't gonna be a little particular, not particular. No judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because it was on point. But I was gonna say like the God / goddess, and then the universe. Because I feel like that's somewhat one and the same. But God, goddess, the universe, and nature. That's your gun. GUN. You tapped in with that, you always strapped. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. You're able to maintain your inner peace. Not getting into nobody else's little quarrelsome energy. You straight. So beautiful, peace. But yeah, the mind is the weapon. Again, your attention is the currency. Again, that's also going into the perspective of like, you're not here to try to, quote unquote, save the world from an external perspective of like, oh, I gotta go out and do this, and oh, I gotta go help the people for this situation or that situation on an external level. No, ultimately, now again, if you love to go feed and save the dolphins, or you love to go on, I forgot what you call those trips where, like, say for instance, when they had the earthquakes in Haiti, some people went and go help out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you love doing, then of course, do it. But just understanding from the perspective, and I know this is also what this Pisces energy, this Pisces full moon is going to help us with, is like gaining clarity about our subconscious programmings and motives, and what subconscious programming is healthy for us, which subconscious programming is not, But yeah, it's like doing it from a perspective because you love it, and not necessarily because it's a programming of feeling like, oh, I got to do this, you know what I'm saying? Because that's coming from the subconscious programming of what you want to say, parenting or whatever, where you felt like you had to do something because you thought this is what your mom and daddy wanted you to do. And again, on the macrocosmic level, you think you're the universal mom and daddy, like, oh, I gotta do this. Like, no, you should do it out of the sheer, love of your heart. Like, don't pick up no trash because you think you're going to hell if you don't. Pick up trash because you're so connected with nature and you enjoy the cleanliness of wherever you at that you really would just rather pick up that piece of trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it should be so subtle, but it makes a difference. The subtle subconscious. But again, like that balance of the Virgo Pisces energy, you don't have to overanalyze and overthink. Balance the awareness. That the Virgo energy could bring, but then also just allowing for the understanding to come in. You don't have to overanalyze these perspectives of your subconscious. Just becoming aware of it. Meditate and tapping in with your, whether people say spirit team, inner guidance, ancestors, spirit guides. You know what I'm saying? Whatever words you use, which I mean they are kind of uniquely different in essence. Ancestors more so dealing with your you have your physical ancestors, or bloodline of family members incarnated on the physical level, and then you have your ancestors in connection on a cosmic level, that may have not incarnated on Earth or on a physical level on Earth. Super good music. Yeah, in essence, you could say disaster relief work. Like like with me, with the whole YouTube channel thing, it's like, I love to do this. Like, I'm not doing this because I think I'm gonna get some brownie points, as I speak on that, I appreciate, because even with that, like with donations and things of that nature, that that's still it goes into sustaining myself, you know what I'm saying, or putting it back into whatever I'm doing, whether it's for more crystals to make crystal art or whatever the case may be. It's like I don't get no little brownie points, you know what I'm saying? Even though I was kind of close to monetizing my YouTube channel and having to understand that energy too, like, again, those subconscious, energies, like having to deal with that, of like, all right, knowing I need to be, knowing that I want to be able to sustain myself and be abundant. But look, I'm trying to allow for, my YouTube channel to be my charity. But then when things get slow, it's like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But it's like understanding that that's just a subconscious, thing going on that I have to, transmute and work on. And again, like, you manifest what you believe in. Hence why for some of us it get, to that stop and go energy, because it's like you working on it, like you're creating that strong energy of self-worth and knowing you're abundant. But again, it's still clashing with old past karmic subconscious programming, because I talked about a while back, like doing that meditation of, healing that extreme asceticism and that extreme minimalist energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I gotta be without in order to be spiritual. It's like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, not at all. But like dealing with that energy of, and again, like understanding now is to vibrate. You're here now, you know what I'm saying? Like, working a job doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I'm working a job now, I'm trapped in the matrix. Like, no, it just it matters where you at subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? Because especially if subconsciously, you know, like, hey, I'm just playing the game of the Matrix and taking this job, you know, whatever. For me, you know what I'm saying? It's just that strong Capricorn Aries energy where it's like, all right, if I was to accept some type of job or something to bring in some more funds, it would have to be something that is just like completely and holistically, you know, to the highest degree in alignment with my energy, you know what I'm saying, what I value and what, you know, because I definitely, you know, I'm not one to have nobody like micromanaging me and like you know, and at this point it's like, you know, I done move through it this long. It's like just stay patient and continuously do the inner work, you know, do the spiritual work to shift, you know, whatever, you know, subconscious programming again is trying to combat the understanding of abundance and self-worth or self-worthiness. Yep, that's the, you know, gratitude is the way. Being grateful, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of the full moon, you know, that could be like a little thing during the full moon, have, you know, writing a little gratitude list. Gratitude for what you already have, you know, grateful that all of your needs are constantly being met. Because it's literally like, you know, as great blackness then brought up, you know, multiple times, you know, it's back to the mental realm, you know, it's like, because the main thing with mostly all of our problems that we experience in our experience, you know, one of the main factors and common denominators in almost all of the experiences that you is the one involved. So ultimately, you know what I'm saying, it's something that, you know, that you got to deal with you. It's not the people, you know what I'm saying? I used to always use the little, you know, quote, if you got problem with people who wear purple shirts, you know, it's not for you to go out trying to take off people purple shirts, you know what I'm saying? You got to go within yourself and, you know, transmute the energy of why you hate purple shirts so much to where you feel you got to fuck with people who wear purple shirts, you know what I'm saying? It's like the inner peace gonna come when you just become at peace with the fact that some people wear purple shirts. And I don't have to look at that and I don't have to let that mess up my day just because they wearing a purple shirt, you know? So you gotta kind of do whatever the inner work you gotta do in order to, you know what I'm saying, transmute that energy. Again, when you look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying, you look in the mirror, it's say for instance you got a booger in your nose when you look in the mirror. You know, do you try to wipe the mirror or wipe the reflection? Or do you fix your own nose? You know, again, the mirror just serving as a mirror, you know what I'm saying, for you to see. You know what I'm saying? And again, of course, you could use this as the metaphor and analogy for, you know, people, places, and things in our experience, you know. But it's like, all right, I got a booger right there, you know what I'm saying? But you wipe your nose, you know, like, oh, I got a booger in my nose. Oh man, it's still there. You know, like, cause literally that be the energy of like, all right, let me externally wipe the mirror. Oh, why the booger in? It's still in my nose. You know, same thing. Is the a matter of fact, is the music playing in the background? Is it too loud? How y'all vibing with the music in the background? Again, much love to this sis, Chantress Seba, bringing in these healthy siren energies. All right, it's not too loud, or you know, it ain't. All right. Oh yeah, again, much. Man, look, check. I don't know if they monetizing their little channel, but you know, subscribe, give them a like. You know what I'm saying? If you vibe with it, I ain't, you know, not just hey because I said go give them a thumbs up, y'all. I'm real big on that because I know the subtleties of like trying to persuade people and shit like that. So I do my best to not do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so aware of it. You know, again, it's like do unto others as you want done to yourself. Like I feel like it's very insulting to my intelligence, or you know, just but insulting to my intelligence when somebody like tries to subtly, you know, persuade me or go back and forth because they're trying to prove or get me to kind of say, hey, yes, all right, I do believe in your perspective or your way is right. You know what I'm saying? But again, I go within, because if I'm attracting somebody who wants to fuss with me, you know, it's probably because a part of me still be wanting to combat and fuss back. But it disappears automatically when you stop, you know, giving into it or feel the need to correct people in certain moments. It's like, oh, you know, as long as you internally correct, or you just give that one like, oh, well, no, I disagree, but to each his own, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. I don't know if I could type whenever. Nope, I'm not able to type right now. I think I seen you ask this somewhere else, bro. You gotta, you know, much love in the most loving and respectful way possible. You know, my channel is about like, you know, I'm gonna share some things, share some insight. For one, I'm not, you know, if you pay attention, I'm not a big. I might study numbers on my own, but I don't like, you know, I'm not a like a numerologist on that level. You know, so you want to research it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I have one of those books with me right here. I don't. But, you know, you could, you know, research how to look up your life lesson number, you know, and how to calculate it. Because that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I don't want nobody to babyfy me, so I don't do it to other people. You know, there's certain things like, of course, that I could answer, you know, but like that type of stuff, you know, is like, you know, with the most loving and respect, you know, I'm thinking, you know, it's Damien, you got this, I promise you. Go look it up, you're gonna find out. Find out what your life lesson is, what your soul number is, and all that good stuff. No, most of the times it's, I mean, I put it like this, it's all about what you attract. Because the shit get tricky when you do notice that this person is trying to fuss. But ultimately, it's like you just gotta say to yourself, like, even if they trying to fuss, I could prevent the back and forth by, for one, not going back and forth with them in this moment. And then after this, conversation is over, like understanding, like, all right, like, what am I doing to attract this situation? What's going on in my subconscious and my energy field that's attracting people who want to, have little debates about stuff, Because again, it's it's what makes you a vibrational match. If something is trying to harm you, or coming close to harming you, it's not that you thinking to yourself, I want to be harmed, but you are vibrating on a frequency that matches attracting something coming that close to quote unquote harming you. So it's like, all right, what is going on? Like that's the holistic view of the whole reflection thing. It's not necessarily that you're exactly like what's being reflected back at you at that moment, but it is a reflection more so like what needs to be really spoken is a reflection of your subconscious. And again, some things could be reflections of subconscious programming that you're actually working on transmuting, while some things could be, a subconscious reflection of, again, your future self, what you are working on in a healthy manner, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's like being aware, because again, we slap this whole like, oh, it's all a reflection, but that's too vague. That's very vague of a expression and an explanation. And I guess for me, because I see without trying to see the details of it, I see the details of it. And because I'm one of those people that, that's like, I dislike vague spiritual sayings without it being explained, it's like, to each his own, do what you do, but like, oh, you got to do the shadow work. All right, well, what is shadow work? Explain that shit bit for bit. You know what I'm saying? Explain each detail of, you know what I'm saying? Like how you knew to do shadow work and what is it? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you just got to do the work. What is the fucking work? You know what I'm saying? And again, I say that because I'm saying that to myself, again, because that's how I am with myself. It's like, all right, this vague expression, explain it holistically, and hence why 1,800 videos later, with I don't know how many videos from some, well, only one two. The one with Bridge of Ra that's 8 hours long. And I did one that was 7 hours on, but for multiple videos of long lengths, for that reason, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I want to, again, is like being the person that you was looking for growing up. Or you, again, like you literally like almost like literally like talking to yourself and doing it for your own health in the sense of like, it's expression like as if a person thought like you or looked at the world like you. So let me express this in a manner like how I get it, because I know there are people out there who deal with the same little aspects of perceiving things, as I've dealt with, or or whatever the case may be, So it's like, just because I know that I don't like vague spiritual maxims, especially when they're like expressed to me like, hey, you should go do this vague expression, but I'm not giving any details on how to do it. Hey, there's a monster in your closet. Everybody has a monster in your closet. All right, what's the solution about how to deal with that monster in my closet? You just went in detail for about 3 hours about how there's a monster in my closet. Could I get those same 3 hours in detail on how to have a solution for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's to each his own. Because again, it's not knocking nobody. Because again, like, you know, everybody dealing with their own little inner perceptions and subconscious energy. You know, in one area that where I'm aware at, you know, to help others, you know, that same person that's not aware of something that I'm aware of could be aware of something that I'm not aware of and teach me something in another area, you know. Hence why holistically, you know, you don't judge a book by its cover or by one thing they're dealing with. You know, you come across somebody where you just feel like, oh, because they do a certain thing, you know, they must not know anything about spirituality. They don't know this part. And it's like, no, they just might be dealing with troubles in that part, but they know a lot about, you know, spiritual, you know, knowledge and knowing how to apply it, you know. But that's just the gist of it. Argonite pyramids, you know, you gotta feel the energy of it, you know what I'm saying? But I did come across my lips getting dry. Like understanding, like, you know, that you could make orgone, like a little orgone device. You know, you can make an orgone device without actually putting it into the little clear mold, you know, just by taking, you know, copper and coiling it up. But again, it's not as easy to mobilize it as an orgone pyramid, you know. But, you know, like, again, just taking like a thick piece of copper wire, making a coil out of it and sitting certain crystals around it, you know, that's a argonite, in essence, pyramid, or argonite generally, you know. Cause that's another thing, since you bring it up, you know, gridding the trees, you know, like going around, I done, you know, put certain crystals by certain trees, you know, kind of digging them kind of close to the roots, you know, because literally, like, the trees, like every tree, like the trees around you, the trees around me, no matter where you at, like, they're all interconnected, you know. And it's like creating like a Wi-Fi connection, you know, like a natural Wi-Fi connection by, you know, amplifying these grids. And you also, this is another form of, you know, if you're not into ancestor veneration on a level, you know, because most melanated people mostly are aware of how to venerate their ancestors through, you know, the perspective of like Voodoo and Santeria, you know, as far as like, you know, veneration through plates of food on the altar, but it don't have to be that, you know, or like ancestor money. Like, you venerate your ancestors by also gridding trees, you know, putting crystals out by certain trees, you know. Cause the ancestors move through the tree energy as well, you know. And if you want to be particular, like, you know, hey, I want this energy to strongly connect with my auntie that the transition, or my grandmother or grandfather, you know what I'm saying? You put the little stone by the tree, but you know, it's like, but again, not only venerating your ancestors, but then also helping the energy field of the area you're in. You know, and I'm also paying attention to like the different types of crystals I put in certain areas, and what type of meditations or what type of energies I feel when I walk by those trees again. You know, like if I put a grid of like if I put like a lapis lazuli by a certain tree, then in that little area, the energy to tap into the truth or to communicate better. Matter of fact, like wherever I put a bunch of lapis lazulis at around trees, that would be a great place to meditate during the Mercury retrograde. You know what I'm saying? Like you create like a little Mercury retrograde grid area. You know what I'm saying? Much love to Mercury retrograde. Nothing wrong with Mercury retrograde. But again, like just knowing though, because it deals with communication in essence. But like again, you could have that grid. You have red crystals gridded by certain trees. You could feel the energy amplified to want to exercise and work on your lower chakras when you're near those trees. And helping people. Because again, that's another thing is it's helping people even if they don't know about any of these things. Hence why, again, even always bringing up like tapping into all this reading and getting knowledge. Only if it resonates with you. I mean, it's important because that's another thing that has been coming up recently too. It's like, sharing this knowledge, that again, like the thumbs up on the YouTube channel is not for me to become fucking famous or none of that. Like the subscribers and the viewerships is already there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no, like, at least from my perspective, it's like, oh, I'm looking to get more popular or more. It's like, no, this is about just the information being seen, like the video I just dropped on my Instagram, I basically was showing how the movie 3,000 Years of Longing with Idris Elba. Much love to Seven always bringing that up. But like how the movie starts off is basically connecting to the two videos I did about the difference between people in nut houses and $1 million authors, is that one tells the story as a fairy tale and the other one is telling you the story at, like, oh no, this is real life, and the one that says it's real life, they try to put them in the nut house, and the one that says the fairy tale makes millions off of their fairy tale. You know what I'm saying? But literally, like, the movie started off was like, she was like, this is a true story or whatever. But something about, but I'm going to make it as a fairy tale. I posted it on my Instagram, so you can see it on my Instagram. But I also kind of, typed in and brought up, like, like, again, like spreading this awareness and that knowledge, because there's brethren and sisters out there that actually think they crazy. Y'all done had to go to the nut house. That shit crazy to me. No pun intended. Like, that shit is crazy to me that some people like have to deal with like having to go to the nut house because of a spiritual awakening. They ain't seeing, like, it ain't like they seeing like, like shit like from a bad trip perspective, just more so like they're just aware of the, they're very sensitive to the spirit realm, and may have told somebody about it or whatever, or don't understand how to maneuver through that, like that they can't really, certain people that they shouldn't try to tell that stuff to or whatever. But if they were aware of YouTube channels like mine and others, because it ain't just me, you know what I'm saying? Like, YouTube channels, book, whatever, if they were aware of these things, they probably wouldn't have had to have that experience. Now, again, of course, them having to have that experience is a part of their karmic energy and what, if it happened for a reason on that level. But again, I know that it, again, with the awareness, it could be prevented, because it's also an alignment for somebody to come across this YouTube channel or others and become aware, like, oh shit, all right, I'm not tripping. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? So And I forgot what that tangent. And I was talking about gritting the trees, and then just jumped into 3,000 years of longing. Top methods of healing, meditation, breath work. Oh, it's probably more. I'm probably about to get more than 3. I'll say though, meditation, breath work, and being present. Like always training my mind to be present in the moment. Like, all right, if my mind trying to travel to some past shit or to some future stuff, is like, hey, where am I right now? Right now I'm doing this. Right now I'm walking down the street. Right now I hear a cardinal chirping in the tree. Right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, being present, breath work, and meditation is like the main 3 things that really kind of just shifted my realm and my experience, and then coming after that, I would say, working with crystals has been very helpful upon my journey. I don't do full out yoga, but I do some forms of like yoga and qigong, you know what I'm saying? Like that helps a lot, you know what I'm saying? Grounding outside in nature. But the first 3 is kind of like, yeah, if you want to. And I would say I write those first 3. So again, meditation, breath work, and being present. And then 4th, or to lump into that, was very highly valuable to my spiritual growth, is understanding myself and studying myself to the fullest, whether it's looking at my natal chart or whether it's just paying attention to the subtleties in my body and just paying attention and observing of the thoughts that do pop up, but like just understanding myself to the fullest, like not getting too caught up in, the outside information. Hence why, like I share the type of stuff that could help you help yourself, like I joke, that's probably why, again, most people, hence why I was like, all right, I gotta tap into, like, if I want to do consultations and stuff, it'll have to be something particular, like, astrology or something like that, because like I do general spiritual consultations, but ultimately, if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you really don't need no spiritual consultation from me, truthfully, because I'm not here to scam nobody. I'm not on that time. That ain't me. But yeah, those 3 I would say is the top 3 for sure, hands down. The meditation changed things. Again, meditation and both breath work combined, again, although I done talked about, and shared, like, my experiences taking entheogens or psychedelics, they're not necessary in essence if you tap into certain breathing techniques, pranayama breathing, and then more techniques other than just pranayama, but pranayama alone or just pranic breathing and, meditation, like, again, that literally like shift my reality, that and being aware of how to be present, hence why, when I bring up, books, it ain't no deep esoteric book like the Book of the Dead or none of that type of stuff, not knocking it, those are very valuable. And that's what I was going to bring up, come back around, because it was important. But like, that's why I always reference the Power of Now, simple book, you know what I'm saying? by Eckhart Tolle, you know, because what I value about it too, and you know, this is why, you know, and I learned how to, you know, do my best to ask questions in this manner too. But like this is why one may value, you know, Brother Rich's channel as well, Black Magic. Much love to Brother Rich, you know, but it's like the question asking. And that's how the Power of Now was set up, where he had people, you know, the personification of people who just have no idea, like a muggle minded, like never tapping into metaphysical stuff type of person perspective in the questioning. So like, you know, as he talking about the power of now, then he would also have like a person questioning, well, how can I be present and I gotta go to work tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? Like, and those questions, you know, hence why I made this a Q&A, like also just tapping into that energy, because I know like I'm in a space where somebody asks certain questions, you know, I'll tap into a space that'll open up some real profound awareness or knowledge. But yeah, that, you know, again, that book, and again, that whole perspective of like, you know, the way the questions are asked in that book just really helps to kind of gain clarity. And that's why I was going to bring up earlier, you know, the importance of us preserving this knowledge. That's why I went on the tangent stemming from when I was talking about like the thumbs up on the videos and promoting, you know, matter of fact, yeah, I went, and shout out to that, you know what I'm saying? Even going back and seeing where the tangent started off from, you know what I'm saying? That's a great memory, you know, because I went into the tangent about the whole little crazy house thing or whatever. But it stemmed from me talking about, you know, thumbing up the videos or just promoting this information. But in general, also like, you know, like maintaining, you know, the esoteric and occult spiritual, you know, knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's through, you know, making sure we keep some of these books, you know, or maintaining, you know, these videos, or, you know, whatever way, form or fashion, you know what I'm saying? Because with the internet and the way things could get to where, you know, certain information could be manipulated through, again, positives and negatives to, you know, dealing with technology, is that also like now, you know, when you go research a website, you know, only certain websites come up that whoever mostly, you know, quote unquote controls the internet, you know what I'm saying, could kind of control like what you're able to see in so many ways, you know, until you start to bust it open more and more to where it's more and more aware people who also have connections with the internet as well. Because I realize like it is the holistic perspective, you know, hence why some of us, you know, again, not judging a book by its cover. You think that somebody that like to work with computers or deal with computers, like, oh, they not connected. They mostly talk about working with AI and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, you know, like that's their unique space, you know, just because you are more of a tree hugger and like to be outside more, don't make them, you know what I'm saying? Because you could get confused and contaminated by being overly in nature in so many ways, you know what I'm saying? Where you now the fairy energy and tree energy run your life to some extent. Like now you ain't nothing but like a extension for a certain spirit that's not necessarily what you meant to be in alignment with, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, went to the extreme. So again, it's like the balance on all levels. But again, like some people, again, more earth energy, some people more water energy, some people more fire, some people more air energy. You know, you could get awareness of this dealing with your astrology natal chart, you know what I'm saying? But just in general, like just knowing how the elements move and what they stand for, and then looking at yourself and your actions and what you're, you know, more naturally gifted at, you know, doing and connecting with, you know. 'Cause it speaks to it in my chart that I would use my voice and tapping into wisdom through technology, aka my YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying, to express, you know, esoteric, you know, ancient wisdom but through a platform on social media, you know. Again, because you'll be like, oh, social media bad, but you use a phone to do this or that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, again, it ain't all bad. It's just how you use it. Nature is all good, and then your house get hit by a tornado, or you go outside and an ant bites you, or you step on uh, a spiky leaf or something outside. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's all about how you tap in with it, how you connect with it, how you know what I'm saying? But just, again, not veering off of that energy of like, making sure, the preservation, of the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because hence also why, like staying consistent and persistent with, making videos, when guided to and to the best of our ability. Because I know for me, I had to kind of I had to take a little step back in order to like make sure I was practicing more than I was talking about things, and like fully digesting some of the stuff that I was channeling, but for the most part, or should I say, not necessarily channeling, or, bringing forth, sharing, clear cognizant downloads, because that's literally how, certain stuff will come to me. It's like, how I explain clear cognizance is like you get a paragraph or a book explanation in 1 second. It just kind of drop out of nowhere, like, bam, this is why, how trees and everything is interconnected and this and that, and like literally like a whole little book and all that in one little, in a manner though where it's digestible and expressible. It's not like it's just like, oh, I got this paragraph or book information and it's overwhelming. It only becomes overwhelming if I'm not doing my my energy work and not staying flexible or open to receive. If I'm not making sure that there is space for this file to be uploaded or downloaded, because literally, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like a file and you got to have space. If a computer don't have no space, when you go to save that encyclopedia or that book or whatever, in the computer, like, oh, they ain't got no more space for this, and literally, like, that's how, again, the computer is made to mimic our technology in the bodysuit. You got too many pictures of porn or too many porn, toxic sexual information or knowledge on your computer is blocking you from downloading the videos that could help you, you know what I'm saying? In essence, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, you gotta delete all the porn. In order to have room for the occult esoteric books, and teach his own. It's not no moralistic thing, you know what I'm saying? Teach his own on what they tap into and deal with, but just knowing that the type of energies that move through, the porn industry and stuff like that, it's like may not be the best thing for the integrity and harmony of your whole being, and especially in connection with the respecting the divine feminine, the divine mother, energy. Because that also gets into, again, like the difference between the earth energy or the princess energy and the water energy, which is like more the mama energy. The mama energy, is more of that water aspect, memory, subconscious, more spiritual, and the spiritual energy is in everything, but for sure the water aspect, that energy is strongly connected. You know, the earth energy is more so about being physical. So the daughters are more focused. You know, they could use that earth energy to you know, to bring forth spirit, but you know, the earth energy could be used, you know, toxically. You know, and again, that kind of brings up connections with, you know, the Apsaras, fairies, and Indra video I did, and again, like how you could see them as like, again, like they were like you know, almost used in a prostitute type of manner, you know, or again like a seductress type of manner, in a distractive, toxic type of way, you know. You know, like again, like the whole energy with again, the bodies of the women being used to just be distractive and just be toxic and promote like a certain type of debt culture, you know what I'm saying, compared to actually transmuting that in, like using the body, you know, but in a manner that promotes doing more healthier things, you know, or healthily embracing your sexuality, you know what I'm saying, instead of using your sexuality to make again solely just to, because again, even that energy, you know what I'm saying, like tapping into the sexual energy on a physical manner, you know what I'm saying, like again on the daughter or princess energy, aka the earth energy, you know, like there is the negative side to it, but again, that energy could be used in a healthy manner. Just long story short, because I was gonna say, you know, the energy of like how some women may just use their body just to always get somebody to, you know, pay for something for them, you know what I'm saying, and things of this nature. But again, in certain moments, you know, it may be something that is a healthy action, you know, like they working on themselves to get better, but the best thing for them to do is use their earth energy to, you know, bring forth some type of abundance in some type of way, you know. And again, though, there's more and more examples I'm starting to see where, you know, that daughter energy, the sexual energy from the daughter perspective, you know, the earth perspective, you know, the bodysuit perspective, the 5-pointed star perspective, because the 5-pointed star is 5, or the bodysuit, because the bodysuit is, you know, for one, 5 limbs, and, you know, again, like the 5 ratio. But you know, Venus energy, Venus earth energy, like it can also again be used in a healthy manner. But again, it's some, you know, it's some women out there using it just to be a distraction or a clickbait, you know. Like I laugh at some of the, you know, the yoga channels or something like that, where it's like, oh, this is not about yoga. This is not about trying to teach you how to do yoga. It's literally some sexual distraction, energy vamping vibes, you know. And again, everything is a balance, and it's a thin line between, you know, a woman, you know, feeling like, hey, I deserve reparations from being, you know, marginalized this long, you know what I'm saying, but then continuously trying to get back that energy in a manner that, you know, basically kind of just keeps things in a dysfunctional manner, you know, when it could be used, the same energy, you know, sexual body energy could be used to generate awareness in a healthy manner, you know. Like they got women who appreciate their bodies, and, you know, because again, like say for instance, being naked, that's a natural thing. That shouldn't be seen as like, oh, that's hypersexual by showing your body. Like, no, it's not. You know, like we just started wearing clothes and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? In essence, I was that being something to do or whatever. So, you know, being naked or, you know what I'm saying, like, or appreciating sex is not a bad thing. Like most people have, again, speaking of subconscious programming and karmic cycles, you know, like from religion, mostly from the Catholic religion of like, oh, you shouldn't have sex or whatever. But you're a being that your body naturally is gonna crave and ask for sex in some way, form, or fashion. So you either learn to healthily channel the sexual energy itself, or you like you learn to channel the sexual energy itself through sex, or you learn how to channel it in something else. But it's like, you know, but having to let that energy, you know, be expressed, you know, because the whole reason why, you know, in so many ways, all that child molestation and all that shit happens in the churches because they are trying, well, partially, I ain't gonna say that's the whole reason. There's other rituals and other shit that's going on with that, you know what I'm saying, certain spirits, all that type of shit. But a part of it though is, you know, again, like trying to stop a natural process. Like, oh, you know, you shouldn't have sex, you should abstain, you know what I'm saying? And it's forcefully promoted. And again, it's not saying that the abstaining part is bad, but where it's damaging is where the subconscious programming of right and wrong. Again, the shadow aspect was created in our subconscious mind when our parents or society first said, hey, this is wrong, undesirable behavior, and this is right, desirable behavior. You know what I'm saying? And when sex was like, oh, sex is all bad, this goes in the bad section. Santa Claus, Saturn Claus, Karma Claus, you know, again, using the perspective of karma to play moralistic, wrong or right type of energy, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, create more damage than something healthy. But I digress though. But just again, the preservation of this esoteric occult awareness, especially again the understanding of, you know, us being a soul on a human experience and transmuting our karmic cycles and lesson loops. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, you know, I mean, you know, rap music or certain music and movies ain't a complete bad thing, but you know, not knowing about like your own karmic energy, things of this nature, you know what I'm saying? Like, or should I say, or say it like this, is knowing about these things is, you know, is very key. You know, and some people again is on a path where they don't have to be talking about it all the time. They'll, you know, as long as they're working on it, again, it's not everybody's job to talk about this. You know, it's just those of us who have like Sagittarius placements or night house placements, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe Mercury lined up with the night house placements, or Mercury and Jupiter together in the ninth house, or in Sagittarius, you know, like who like to express these things orally and be more of like somewhat of like a teacher or philosopher. You know, those of us value doing, but everybody don't have to do that. You know, like I think of you know, the sister, the Queen Sha'Carri Richardson, who run track. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's embodying source energy. If source was a track runner, you know what I'm saying? Like she inspiring, she bringing forth the awareness. You know, I seen she got her little Naga tattoo, you know what I'm saying? Little serpent tat. you know. But she bringing forth that awareness through just being, a great track runner, because ultimately she's being a beacon of just coming to earth and doing what you love. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of your path. It's like, what's your soul purpose? Her soul purpose was going out here and being the fastest woman in the world, like that. It doesn't have to, because I also see where, subtly she implements and says certain things that, promote like a connection with spirit, so it's not only, running track, but then also taking that platform and, sharing little jewels here or there, but everybody, again, this is only for those of us who really into, running our mouth a lot about esoteric and metaphysical occult information. But I may not have the answer for that for you personally, Diego M. The general answer that, again, some type of subconscious programming from your childhood, and of course, if you believe in reincarnation or not, but it starts in the childhood, but that's also stemming from past lives. But it's some type of little guilty subconscious programming that that's promoting you to feel guilty about it. You know what I'm saying? Solution wise, what I could share is sitting down with yourself and, whether you call it intuition, the universe, source, inner guidance, spirit guides, like, hey, spirit guide, source, inner being, the universe, why do I feel guilty expressing my sexual energy, and what's the solution to healing this so I no longer feel guilty about expressing my sexual energy? Because again, it's like how we talk to ourselves and how we ask questions, with our inner guidance it's like almost like a skill, because hence why sometimes we don't get like the certain answers and stuff we're looking for, either because we're asking too much and not allowing for the answer to come to us, like we're kind of in a fearful, constantly asking where we never allow for the answer to develop, or just not knowing how to ask the right questions, yeah. Bring that question inward, and I promise you will find the answer if you allow it to. But I'm about to go. Greatly appreciate tapping in with y'all in the live. Of course, as we started it, we'll end it with, the ashe and gratitude and appreciation for our inner guidance, spirit guides, ancestors, appreciation for and gratitude for the resilience and persistence of the guidance and protection, that always been with us and always with us, That's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? Tapping in with this full moon energy, got the psychic energies. Psychic energies is on full tilt. Being grounded right now. Again, I spoke to the balance of the Virgo Pisces energy. But and greatly appreciate y'all for being here in the live. Because the whole live is to connect and have the chat for y'all to connect with each other in the chat, and talk back and forth about, because sometimes, You know, that's a very beautiful thing when I see like people like, oh, you know, like, because sometimes certain people be asking me a question and somebody in the chat could answer it accurately, you know, not on no, you know, funny, weird type of stuff. Like they, you know, grateful for cultivating a space where, you know, is not so many trolls in the space, if any. Yeah, greatly appreciate it. Again, y'all, thumbs up, share videos, not necessarily this one, but any videos that you feel would help others, you know what I'm saying? Or again, that you would want to make sure that the video doesn't get swallowed by the algorithms of YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button or share, you know what I'm saying? This is not about any fame or popularity. Matter of fact, because this YouTube channel actually expanded from a space of me just getting out and do it, you know. I didn't have the best camera all the time. And matter of fact, much love to myself for making it through that moment. Like, you know, that testing energy to try to make me turn back or stop doing videos where like everybody would criticize my squeaky chair, you know, in my older videos. And like, and at one point I was like, I would at least feel like I had to combat or say something back towards some of the people, but then it just got to a point, you know, where you just really realize what that is, and you just kind of like let it be, and you know, all of a sudden, you know, that type of energy no longer could exist, you know, in my space. But yes, it's all greatly appreciated. Any and all donations greatly appreciated as well. You know, because other than my jewelry, making my art, you know, I put this energy into the videos, you know, so it's greatly appreciated for the donations that come in. Donation links is under mostly all of my videos, you know, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, penny, a dollar. Greatly appreciated to help me sustain myself since I don't, you know, have a quote unquote 9 to 5, you know, and kind of do this more full time, you know. But also social media, my Instagram page, Universal Frequencies 1. You know, check that out if you're on Instagram. That's basically it, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Now is to vibrate, not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now, take care of yourselves physically, etherically, and astrally. You got this. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to what is going well in your moment. Stay optimistic. Don't let the distractions of the news and pop media, social, popular, whatever you want to call it, you know, get too distracted for you or distractive at all for you. You know what I'm saying? Stay on point. Your chi is currency. You know, your attention is how you pay for things. So make sure you're paying attention to things that would also pay you back, that would reciprocate that chi and life force energy. Peace.